Okay, so that was, it's still saying unable to connect to chat. Weird. Um, yeah, so we don't know really what's going on here. First couple of live streams that we're trying to do, and we're having difficulty. I can't, for some reason, I can't see the chat. I don't know why. We thought maybe refreshing the screen would fix that issue. But for some reason, I can't see the chat. So we're just going to have to look at the chat on Amy's phone. That's just probably what we're going to have to do. Hi, good evening, Lori Jean. Good to see you here. Oh, it's popping up. Okay, great. It's popping up on the screen now. So we're good. We're good. So thanks for checking in. I'm just going to go ahead and restart from the top. SeaWorld San Diego rides reopened today, announced today the rides are going to reopen on April 12th. And again, it's just kind of out of the blue. What's that, 4 days from now? And of course, they announced that non-California residents will not be able to attend. So it looks like that won't be an issue for Lori Jean because she's coming in from Northern California. So you'll be lucky enough to be able to access those rides if you're coming in the next couple of months. I did have a couple of viewers that were sad that they weren't going to be able to go, and we wanted to talk about really what all of this means for your vacations and things like that. The biggest thing is going to be if you have a trip planned for after April the 12th, you're not going to be able to go. Even if you already had tickets booked for, like, say May 5th or whatever, you won't be able to come in. It's California residents only. They are closing the entire park to everyone outside of California. Yes, unfortunately. Sorry for you guys. Hi, Vince. Good to see you. You just saw the fireworks from Point Loma. Great. We enjoyed the fireworks. We saw them last week on Easter Sunday. Yeah, we went and saw them on Easter Sunday, so it was a good time. Our 3-year-old liked them. Our 3-year-old did love them. So did our 6-year-old. They both loved the fireworks. We watched the Polynesian fire dance beforehand, which was an okay show. I thought the kids probably would find it fairly boring, but they really enjoyed the fireworks afterwards. We got to stay in the Orca Stadium. But rides, yes. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So of course the parks are going to be closed. SeaWorld. Somebody asked, what happens if I have tickets then for, say, March 5th, which was the example that we just gave. Hi, it says no name, so I'm not quite sure, but hey, the 75th subscriber, good native San Diegan, glad to have you here with us. Thanks for watching. And of course, you won't have any issues with this announcement either, except for you'll be interested to find out what rides will be reopened and that sort of thing, starting on the 12th. But SeaWorld answered somebody on Facebook who asked the question, what happens if I've already booked a trip? And they said that once we know when rides are going to reopen, or when the park is going to reopen to everyone, you'll then have to contact SeaWorld to reschedule. That's the procedure or the process of what you will do. Hi, Kevin. Good to see you. Thanks for checking in with us. And let me see. I wanted to read these updates. So this is straight from SeaWorld's website. They have updated all of their COVID-19 frequently asked questions. And the question on here is, when will SeaWorld begin to allow California in-state visitors into the park? So that's going to be the next big question. You can't come in after April 12th. So when can you come back? SeaWorld has this to say starting on April the 12th. Attendance is limited to California in-state visitors only per state COVID-19 restrictions. Please continue to monitor our website for updates on these restrictions and availability for non-California residents. California in-state visitors may be asked to present proof of residency upon entry. Party sizes may not contain more than 3 households. To adhere to capacity guidelines and for the health and safety of our guests and employees, reservations are required to enter the park. SeaWorld will continue to operate with enhanced safety, yada, yada, yada. So Carl asks, other than out-of-state restrictions, what do you think will be different from April 12th and the removal of the tier system on June 15th? And Lori Jean checks in, says she got her first vaccine, waiting for the second. I actually still have my Band-Aid on. I got mine today. Johnson & Johnson for me because I hate needles and I needed one and done. That's just what I needed to do. Yes, and Lori also mentions Avengers Camp is opening on June 4th. We're excited for that too. We can talk about that a little bit later.
I mean, our hope in terms of Carl's question is we're hoping that when the tier system goes bye-bye, and we're hoping it goes bye-bye by that date, it's all still dependent on hospitalization rates and vaccine rates. So knowing California, where it's, fingers crossed until that date and anything could change. But our hope is that by after that date, if the blueprint goes away, we're hoping then at that point, even though they said mask mandates will still stay, that at that point, non-California residents are allowed to come in and go places.
I did read a bit more about that today. So what exactly is going to happen on June 15th? Well, June 15th is just the date that the governor has set as a goal. He said that date is subject to change, which is what Amy is just talking about. Anything can happen. But yes, as Lori Jean just said, we will have to wear masks for a while. They did not announce when masks would go away. I know that the CDC and the White House and things will be the ones that sort of dictate when that goes away. But to quote Newsom, he said that we would be open for business as usual. That means that businesses will no longer be required to cap capacity and that sort of thing. They can go back to business pre-COVID if they desire. Now, that's a big if they desire, because I was reading an article earlier that said that some businesses would choose to continue to stay closed. They interviewed the guy who is in charge of a lot of venues and concerts and things like that in the LA area, and he said they were planning on opening in September. And just because Newsom announced that they could open in June doesn't mean that they will. They want to be safe and they want to be comfortable and they don't want to rush things. So he said that he wasn't going to resume those venue type things until September-ish. And there was a little footnote in that article that gave me a little cause for concern, and that was, it said, and some representatives of other theme parks agreed. That's it. They didn't say what theme park, they didn't say who the representative was, but they just said that some representatives in other theme parks wouldn't be rushing to just suddenly reopen on June 15th. I imagine Disneyland would probably be in that category. Disneyland is probably not going to rush to go back to 100% capacity. I hope that Disneyland will at least open up to out-of-state residents
I would think
at that time.
Try to as soon as they can, because they know that there are a lot of out-of-state, even pass holders. Kind of like SeaWorld, you've got Arizona and Nevada, Utah. A lot of those people are actually closer than even Northern California.
Yep. We actually admin a Facebook group for SeaWorld San Diego pass holders. So if you are not on that group, that would be a good one for you to check out. I think it's just called SeaWorld San Diego Annual Pass Holders. But we had some members in there saying that they're out-of-staters and they have the annual pass and now they can't come into the park, which is unfortunate. I mean, they paid for an annual pass and they can't use it. And that's just an unfortunate thing. And Carl said that was his question there. And then again, it says no name, but hi, David. But the question is, do you ever do the dining program at SeaWorld, not the Seven Seas Food Festival? So you're talking about the Eat All Day plan? Is that what you're referring to?
That one we haven't ever done.
Yeah, no, we haven't ever done the Eat All Day plan. What is it, $30, $35?
30 for the day or something.
But you can eat every 90 minutes. I think that's the deal.
We've thought about it, but usually if we're there, we don't ever spend, because we're so close, we don't ever spend the whole day there. Typically, if we go on a Sunday, we usually have gone after church. So we've gone home, eaten lunch, and then gone. And so we'll be there for dinner. Or if we go on a Saturday, we'll go right when it opens, stay through lunch, and then leave. So for us, it was never worth adding on a all-day dining.
I think that if you're planning on spending the whole day there and you can split food with whoever you're there with, it would be a fantastic deal. So I wouldn't probably, well, we could even do it with us. Generally, when we go in, we take food for the kids. Like we'll take peanut butter and bread and things, and we'll make food for them. And so what I would do if I had that dine all day plan was I would go in, get a meal, and then I'd take it out. We'd cut the burger in half. She and I would each have a half. And then 90 minutes later, we'd go.
We would do pretty much what they tell you not to do. But
90 minutes later, I'd go get another thing. And then we'd cut it in half and we'd split it. And when you think about it, so everything's different right now. If you haven't been to SeaWorld in a while, everything is different than it used to be. Hi, it says MPS Network. I guess that's just the name of your YouTube account. But hello, good to have you here watching with us. What was I saying about the dine?
All different.
Yeah. Oh, the food is all different now. So previously, you used to go in, pay $13.99 for a burger and fries, and that would be your meal. Now everything's a la carte for the Seven Seas Food Festival. So it's $8.99 for the item, and then you have to buy the fries separate. So they're not currently doing this dine all day deal. But when it is running $13.99 for a meal, you're paying, even if let's just say it's $35, because I'm not sure, I think it's $35 for the dine all day deal. If you buy 3 meals, then you've paid for it. The 4th meal makes it so that you're saving money. So you would basically need to buy 2 meals at lunchtime and 2 meals at dinner time, and you could split them between people. Of course, everyone could get a wristband for each person in your party. But I think in order to make those worth it, again, you would pretty much have to get at least 4 meals to financially make that worth it. What do they currently have, though? Since they don't have the dine all day, they have what is called a dine and drink pass. I think that's what it is. It's basically, every time I turn, the light blows out here.
Stop fidgeting.
Yeah, I need to stop fidgeting. The dine and drink pass is basically a Seven Seas pass. I asked this on Sunday because it doesn't make any sense to me. It's $30 for 6 punches, 6 items with the dine and the drink pass. And if you get the lowest Seven Seas Food Festival pass, it's $60 for 10 punches. Well, if you do some quick math there, 2 of the dine and drink deals is 12 punches for the same price, $60. But I did confirm with SeaWorld that they do work at all the places and on all the Seven Seas food booths. It's not just at the dining locations only. So that's their current replacement for the dine all day deal. Now, I think that'll continue even after Seven Seas ends. And you'll still be able to get 6 items.
They were doing that before Seven Seas started. As soon as they had reopened, whenever it was last year, they kind of switched to these smaller portions and slightly lower costs. Which, if you're not a big eater, the kids' meals are usually a better value than even the regular meals because.
Yes.
The kids' meals come with a side. So, like at Mama Stella's last year, at one point, they have fish and chips. Well, the adult portion, I guess think that one actually did come with fish and chips. But most of the adult portions were like one item, and then you had to buy French fries separate, or one item had to buy a salad separate. Whereas the kids' meals came with both items, and
the chicken is huge.
Yeah, like the kids' meal things. Like I got a kids' meal quite a few times. So if you're not a big eater, I'd recommend just getting kids meals.
Marissa asks, what are our favorite restaurants in San Diego?
We need to explore more.
Yes, we're not very explorative, if that's the right word. We like to. It's just a matter of...
We don't like downtown parking, so we tend to, like, the more popular ones tend to be the ones that are downtown
Downtown.
San Diego, and we tend to avoid downtown San Diego. But that being said, we like Old Spaghetti Factory downtown. We like Miguel's, and they have
Miguel's is in
locations.
Coronado.
They have locations all over because they have Coronado.
Yeah.
They have a new one down at the bay, like, or a harbor, right on the Embarcadero. If I said that right.
Embarcadero, I think is how you pronounce it.
Then they have one in Point Loma, one somewhere else, but those are two of our favorite.
We just tried Mitch's Seafood. So since we started the channel here a few months ago, we have decided that we want to be more explorative with food and things. Of course, when we're in theme parks, we eat in the park. But there are a couple of places nearby that we wanted to check out. There's this place we almost went to the other day called Baba's Hot Chicken, which is right near the zoo, the San Diego Zoo, and it looks amazing. We haven't made it there yet. We did eat at Cannonball, which was at Belmont Park. That video hit our channel like 2 days ago. We were at Belmont Park for the day, and instead of just eating at one of the little fast food places, we decided we'd try one of the sit downs so that we could report on that. And the claim is that Cannonball is the best sushi in San Diego, and it was pretty good sushi. But it was a great burger too, just a little pricey. So we probably won't eat there again, but Mitch's was great value, really lots of portion sizes.
My platter at Mitch's was huge.
But I want to, since there's no other questions that have come in so far, redirect back to what we're talking about, which is SeaWorld Rides reopening. And I want to talk about what rides are reopening, because not all the rides are reopening. They're not all coming back right away. So SeaWorld has announced that they are going to open in 2 phases. And the first phase is going to have Electric Eel. That is going to be the primary big ticket, to use the Disney term, e-ticket ride for SeaWorld's rides reopening, and I love Electric Eel, so I'll be on that. She not so much. So she probably won't be riding Electric Eel, but once was enough for her. My mother, though, is a huge Daredevil, so Amy can watch the kids, and she and I will go ride it.
I'll be on the swings with the kids.
At the moment, we do have a reservation for Monday the 12th, but when I get off work, by the time we get there, I only have an hour or less in SeaWorld. So I'm going to see if I can work a half day that day in order to be able to spend some more time in there. But we'll see. If not, we do have another reservation for, did you make it for Saturday?
I think.
You think so? I think, yeah, Saturday the 17th. So in worst case, that's when we'll get in there to ride some of these rides. And Electric Eel will be opening, and then most of the kids' rides. That's just a good rule of thumb. There's one that's not, and we'll talk about that in a second. Elmo's Flying Fish, which is in the Sesame Street area, will be open at the beginning on April 12th. Tentacle Twirl will be open. That's the swing ride that is over by the Explorers Reef area. Abby's Sea Star Spin, also in the Sesame Street area. Hi, Lauren. And Oscar's Rockin' Eel, also in the Sesame Street area, will be reopening April 12th. Octo Rock, and I'm really curious about this one. So up until now, all the ones previously listed have really good social distancing. Octo Rock, I'm really confused on. If you've ever been on Octo Rock, they sit 6 people side by side, and then they swing them back and forth. So are they going to seat every other seat? Because that line was always long and slow to begin with. So
they put like one family in the front, another family in the back row, and
they could possibly do that. But again, you're still probably limiting capacity on that. So I imagine that the line would be a lot slower for Octo Rock. Yep, and the same with Sea Dragon Drop, which is also going to be opening on April 12th. And that's they have 2 seats on the outside for adults. And their seats for adults are not really all that great for adults. They're the only seats you can sit in for adults, but they're really tight. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work. My guess is it'd be easiest for that just to stick a divider right in the center, and then you can have 3 people on either side.
I don't know if they could even put a divider.
I don't know. Yeah, if they can't fit a divider, then they have to leave like the center 2 seats out, and they're only going to be able to seat 4 people. To
I have no idea how this is going to work.
I don't know either. This is going to be interesting. So, I mean, we want to see and report on it for you guys how exactly they're doing social distancing on some of these rides, because it is a huge question. So that is it for phase 1 of SeaWorld's reopening. That's it. And so one e-ticket ride, electric eel, and then those kids rides. Now, they're on SeaWorld's website. It does say that Manta is coming very soon. All the other ones say just coming soon, and Manta says coming very soon. A couple of news articles that I read made it sound like Manta was going to be open on April 12th with the rest of the rides, but that's not what SeaWorld's website says. So I wouldn't expect it to be open April 12th, but this is my theory. Coming very soon means that they've got a little hiccup with the construction of the ride. Well, not construction, but the functionality of the ride, whatever it is. Somebody had reported that the rails were getting really, really rusty, and so maybe they're just having fluidity and smooth running issues. But once that gets taken care of, it'll probably open immediately. So it could be open by the 13th or the 14th or the 15th or something like that. It's just as soon as they get it functioning, it'll be up and running. Then the rest of them all just say coming soon. There's no date for them. We don't know what date the rest of these rides are going to open. So those rides are Aqua Scout, the Bayside Sky Ride. And Aqua Scout, by the way, if you're not remembering what one that is, it's the one in the Explorers Reef area. And yeah, it's the one that goes over the bump and then it bounces and bounces and bounces. Amy asked me right before we started the live stream, which kid ride wasn't working again? And I said Aqua Scout, and you said,
like, oh yeah, the one that's typically not working anyway.
That one is always broken. So for some reason, Aqua Scout won't be reopening on, well, not some reason. We know why Aqua Scout won't be reopening. In fact, they took all the arms off for the longest time.
They're back on.
And then they put them back on now. But Aqua Scout won't be running. Bayside Sky Ride, which of course is basically like the Skyfari at the zoo and the Skyliner at Walt Disney World. It's just that, gondola ride that goes over the bay. I don't know why that's not reopening, because
you're in your own thing.
You're in your own thing, and the zoos is currently operating and has been for quite a while. In fact, I don't even know if that classifies as a ride, because the zoo's been running it since before April 1st even. Carl asks, so for SeaWorld, you have to have a reservation and a ticket purchase like Disneyland. Yes. For any of the attractions in, the zoo, Safari Park, SeaWorld, Knott's Berry Farm, Disneyland, Legoland, you're going to have a ticket and a reservation. That ticket could be an annual pass, or it could be a single day.
So, they have some
date-specific
with
ticket.
SeaWorld. If you buy a date-specific ticket, we'll have to check, but I don't think you need a separate reservation, because when you buy that ticket, if it's date specific, it already has a reservation.
That's accurate.
And I think that's the same for the zoo as well.
Yes.
Whereas for us, since we're annual pass holders, we actually have to go through like a separate pass holder link on the website to make our reservations.
Yeah, you don't need to make a reservation if you have a date specific ticket. The only day you can get in is April 15th. So therefore, you don't need a reservation, that sort of thing. Hi, Damien. Damien says, I wish SeaWorld had their fireworks every month, but only like last week. Where'd it go? Oh, message retracted. As far as the fireworks go, so initially the fireworks at SeaWorld was only supposed to be March 26th through April 4th. Then they extended it to April 11th, and then they changed their mind and said it's going to be every weekend through May the 31st. So they're not operating throughout the week after April 11th. They're nightly through April 11th. And then after that, they won't be during the week. They will be on the weekends, though, every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all the way up till May the 31st. That may get extended again. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets extended again, especially if the blueprint's going away June 15th. They may just, keep everything going again with...
They typically have fireworks, I feel like, during the summer anyway, so...
Yes, yeah. But it's nice to have fireworks back after no fireworks last year. It was exciting to have them back for sure. Some more of those rides that are going to reopen in phase 2 is Journey to Atlantis. So Journey to Atlantis will not reopen on April the 12th. Riptide Rescue, that's that like scrambler type ride by Turtle Reef. When you come out of the gift shop in Turtle Reef, it's got like these little rescue rafts, and it scrambles you around. That ride won't be reopening on April 12th. And Shipwreck Rapids, and that's no surprise. The last couple of times we've been there, they haven't even had the water filled in, so they've got a long way to go for Shipwreck Rapids. Now, why aren't these rides reopening? SeaWorld actually did answer that, or the CEO did in one of the news articles I read. She said that they're not reopening those rides in phase 1 because they're more summery type rides. Journey to Atlantis, you could get wet. Shipwreck Rapids, you will get wet. Bayside Skyride, the one time that I rode that with my son, it was cold. The like going over the bay and the cross breeze and everything, it was really chilly. So I can see why they want to hold that ride off until it gets a little warmer as well. But I mean, I still feel like the Bayside Skyride could reopen, but that's not all. There's a couple more rides that they're not going to open at phase 2, though. Unfortunately, the Sky Tower says it is temporarily closed. Now, I guess that's because it is enclosed. So that since it's an inside type ride and it takes you up high, and they just for germ purposes and that sort of thing, they don't want an indoor type ride functioning. So that's going to be temporarily closed, probably until after June 15th would be my guess. And then Tidal Twister, the brand new ride that opened like 2 years ago that was always broken.
We haven't ridden it because every time we went, I think there was one time we went that it was open, but it had really long lines. We didn't ride it. And every single other time we went after that, even while pre-COVID, the ride was broken. So
I don't know if the reason for Tidal Twister being temporarily closed and not scheduled to reopen is because, well, they just haven't been able to get it working properly to begin with, or if it is if you've ever seen it, it's a very closed spaced ride. Like the track overlaps, and so maybe they don't want germs to, like, I don't know. It's outdoor.
Half the track's still under while the other part goes on top, which means you have people on top.
Correct. That's what I mean. Like people on top, the people below, and maybe it's just too.
Or it's not working.
Or that's probably the more likely scenario. It's just not working. So. Unfortunately, those 2 rides are not slated to reopen at all at the moment. Hi, Oscar. Happy birthday. Glad to have you join with us to chat about SeaWorld and their rides reopening. I did want to read to you all what the president of SeaWorld had said. Marilyn something was her name. I can't remember. I didn't say. Oh, there it is. President Marilyn Hannis. She says SeaWorld will continue to operate with enhanced health and safety protocols for cleaning and sanitizing, physical distancing, face covering requirements, and temperature screenings. To ensure social distancing, the number of tickets and reservations available for any given day are limited. We're delighted to bring back some of the best thrill and family rides that San Diego has to offer. Our guests have been eager for SeaWorld to reopen rides, which is an understatement. And we are looking forward to providing these exciting experiences to our guests. Safety is our number 1 priority. As we've been fortunate to already be open and operating as a zoo, we've already implemented significant safety enhancements for our guests. Damien says that his pass expired back in March. You've got to get it back again. Yeah, definitely, especially with rides opening back up again. Get a pass and come on and join us. If you're a California resident, you'll be able to enjoy those starting on Mondays, just 4 days away. There were some more things that SeaWorld San Diego President Marilyn Hannis had to say in some other news articles. Again, I've kind of read like 4 or 5 different news articles and pieced all this information together for you. It says, I think there's a ton of pent-up demand for rides. She said, it's been a year. Certainly our fans, our past members, the locals are wanting to go on rides again. We hear that all the time. And then they highlighted some of those rides that were going to be reopened. It says also uncertain is the opening date for the Emperor Coaster. So if you're wondering when that is going to be the case, It is uncertain which was supposed to make its debut last year, but it was sidelined by the pandemic. Construction on the coaster, billed as the tallest and fastest floorless dive coaster in California, is complete, and testing is still ongoing, Marilyn Hannis said. We'll decide the perfect time to open Emperor, she said. I think it's very close. It's a business decision. It's going to be an incredible addition to the park, and it deserves a plan of its own. So when is Emperor opening?
I don't see that happening until after they can go back to full capacity.
They're going to want to make a big splash with Emperor. They're going to use it as the ability to drive lots of sales and lots of visitors into the park. And they just can't do that with the limited capacity that they currently have. They also previously said that they were going to have pass holder previews for Emperor. I don't know if that is still going to be the plan, but if it is, we'll definitely be able to give you some inside scoop on Emperor prior to it opening. Oscar asked, do you think the water rides will reopen? Yes, they will. That's what she goes on to say that here. Let me see where she said that. Right here. Thrill rides like Shipwreck Rapids and Journey to Atlantis, as well as the Bayside Sky Ride. I don't know why she lumped that in with thrill rides. Will reopen in a second phase, which should arrive as the weather warms up, but no specific date has been announced, Hannis said. So that is straight from the president of SeaWorld San Diego. She said that they will reopen as the weather warms, but no specific date is announced. What does that mean? Well, it doesn't get hot here until July. It can get hot in June, but typically we have there are two local phrases. If you're from out of town, you're probably not used to the phrase May gray and June gloom. Both of those months, May and June, tend to have lots of days of overcast where we don't really get to see the sun all that often, or it takes until, mid-afternoon to burn off. And so because of that, it does remain chilly in the morning. Now, if you're from North Washington or Canada or something, yeah, you'd think it was a heat wave coming down to San Diego. But anyway, Miggle Jr. asks, where am I reading that from? Honestly, I don't have the article open anymore. It was, if you Google SeaWorld Rides reopening and then just click on a bunch of the news articles, that's where I pulled them from. I pulled these quotes from like 5 or 6 different articles. So one of them was from like Orange County Register. One of them was from Fox 5 San Diego. One of them was from CBS 8. That a lot of places put out articles, and I don't know how they got the quotes from her and that sort of thing, because none of them were like really quick on it either. It's like SeaWorld sprung this on everybody, and then the news took like 3 or 4 hours to come out with like, so my guess is I don't think anyone was expecting it. They weren't waiting in the winds to hit that publish button the second SeaWorld dropped it on their Facebook page. That's for sure. So I think they used those 3 to 4 hours to contact SeaWorld and get a quote from their president so that they could put in their news article. And those were just in various news articles that I had found. And so
I think Carl's comment was in reference to me on.
No. Carl, I believe Carl's from Washington or Oregon or something like that. So he was saying that's me in reference to one of the people who would come down here and think it was a heat wave. Oscar said, do you know I was one of the SeaWorld Biff show? You were in the I'm confused. Were you in the actual show, or you mean you were in my video that we posted of the Sea Lions Live? Is that what it is? Oh, and Carl says he's from Seattle, so that answers that question. But very, very neat. You were in the video. Okay, cool. I did not know that. That's pretty neat. You were there at the same time that we were. That's happened a couple of times. I was chatting with someone who was in the Polynesian fire dancing with us as well. But he said that he was down a few rows and to the left, just out of camera. So that's just what it was. But Have we watched the fireworks from the spot that you told me about? No, we were going to.
But we went to the Polynesian fire dancing because we wanted to see it. And they told us if we went to that show, we weren't allowed to leave the Orca Stadium until after the fireworks were over. So they kind of forced everybody to stay in there, which was fine because it honestly was a good view.
It was a great view.
The music was really loud from in there. But we couldn't leave to go over to that spot.
We did scope out that spot, though, down by the Mission Bay Theater, and we had fully planned on going back there. But after they told us that viewing the fireworks was part of the Polynesian Fire Dance show, we were fine staying there, and it was great. Goodman says, congrats on hitting 500 subscribers. Are we able to live stream now? Sort of. We're actually have always been able to live stream in this capacity. I'd never done it before, and this is really neat to be able to do this. I love interacting with you guys, and I did this impromptu 2 days ago thanks to Carl. He was asking some questions, and it was just seemed like it'd be easy just to hop on a live stream to answer them. And then when this came out, it's like, hey, let's do another live stream to talk about SeaWorld Rides reopening. And totally, this is really fun. But no, what the hitting 1,000 subscribers to live stream for is so that we can live stream on mobile here. So in order to basically, like, if we wanted to live stream on a ride with you guys at Walt Disney World when we go in a couple weeks, we would have to have 1,000 subscribers and the capacity to live stream on our phone. It doesn't.
We can't really carry a laptop.
Yeah, can't carry a laptop in there. We can use our laptop though to live stream at really any point. And we were moving quite along. Let's see, we really started this channel again February 6th. I mean, I'd posted a few videos a couple of times before that. And over the like a year or so before that. But February 6th, we really started posting very frequently and going into the parks to answer questions for you guys. And we were at like 30 subscribers at that point. It took about a month to hit 100 subscribers. And then in the last 3 weeks to 4 weeks, we've gone from 100 to 500. So the pace was on track for us to hit 1,000 by the time that we went to Walt Disney World in May. But with spring break over now, things have slowed down a little bit in the travel industry. People aren't searching as much and finding us as quickly. So I don't know that we're going to hit 1,000 subscribers by May. We are still moving quite along, and I thank you guys so much for your support and your interest in our channel. We definitely couldn't do that without you guys. I think we'll probably be at about 800 by the time we get to by the time we get to Walt Disney World. But I came up with a solution. So I still want to live chat with you guys while we're there. And so we're going to just do it from our resort. And I'm going to carry my laptop down to the center town at Caribbean Beach Resort, which is where we're staying. And we'll live stream from there and chat with you guys. If the Wi-Fi is strong enough, I'll walk the laptop like over to the pool, and maybe we'll sit in the pool area one day, and maybe we'll check in from like the dining area another day, looking out over the Riviera Resort and that sort of thing. But yes, we can live stream via our computer, but not via our phone, and probably won't by the time we go to Walt Disney World. But that's okay. We'll make do, and we'll still have a great time. We'll upload all our videos for you guys to see. It looks like there's a lot of comments on here. Miguel says we need to go one day, and yes, definitely we will check that out if we are going on a fireworks day. I think. Oh, no, you scheduled for the 18th, didn't you? April 18th? No? 17th. We did it the 17th? Okay. I blew out the light again. Hopefully there we go, calm back down. But we were thinking about going Sunday, April the 18th, and we would have had to have gone. We have a lunch plan that day. We would have had to have gone after 2 p.m. and probably would have stayed through close to see fireworks again. And we could have checked out that Mission Bay theater spot. But if you guys are going to SeaWorld for fireworks at all in the next couple months, that did look like it was a fantastic spot. The Mission Bay Theater is the one kind of in the back of the park that's right along the bay, right along the water. Really great view there. Damien says he lives in San Diego, lives far away from SeaWorld, but I hear there's fireworks from far away. So we live in El Cajon, East County, so it's about a 30-minute drive for us too. And
You can't
obviously
hear
we can't hear them from way out here. But anybody who is in can you see them from Coronado?
I don't think so.
No, even Coronado is probably too far away to see the
I
fireworks.
mean, you might if you're up on like the naval base, like on North
Yeah.
Island, but we're not allowed on North Island. So
Miguel says to make a Twitter. I will be completely honest with you and say that I have no experience on Twitter whatsoever. I have a Twitter account, but I don't know. I've just never gotten Twitter. So I think we're just going to stick with Instagram and Facebook. Honestly, I just use Facebook for basically posting the videos. But Instagram, we do post photos there. Amy is more the photo person. And so I need to get her set up with our Instagram account because I always forget to take photos when we're at these places. I do tons of video. I have the video camera up pretty much like the whole time that we are on site, but I always forget to take photos. So Amy's a photo person, so I need to get her to take more Instagram photos and upload those to our Instagram. No Name says, you mentioned you're going to Disney World for your anniversary. Yes. What is your favorite Disney World restaurant? How about top 3 of 5? Because there's so many. Actually, I'm going to hold that off for now. So I wanted to let you guys know that I love this live stream. This is awesome. And we've been going for 40 minutes. And I just, bye, Oscar. Good night. I love chatting with you, and this is really fun for us. I want to do this weekly, so I'm thinking about having a. I need a social media person. I want to do live streams, possibly every Monday, and I don't know if this is corny or what, but the channel's Disney Dad, SoCal Disney Dad. I wanted to add in calling it maybe a Monday Ask Me Anything. So that acronym would be a mama, mama and dad and that sort of thing. I don't know. Yeah, she thinks it's a stupid idea. But a Monday Ask Me Anything type thing, like where we'd have a general overall theme, but, you can just talk about and just chat and hang out. And this Monday, I wanted to talk about our Walt Disney World plans, and talking about our dining reservations is one of those, because dining reservations for us is something that's always in flux. It really is.
We plan, we book, we get to about a week before our trip, and we usually end up changing like 3 of them, or at least last time.
So if I had to pick just a top restaurant, because you asked for top restaurants, Ohana is a huge one. Not open right now, but it's definitely one of our favorites. My mother's favorites is Chef Mickey's, but it's basically just American food. And Amy and I love to try new foods. We're very adventurous with our foods. My mother is not. My mother will eat pizza and chicken sandwich, or chicken strips and hamburger, and that's it, that sort of thing. Anyway, so Ohana, my mom likes Chef Mickey's. We always go to Teppan Edo. That's the hibachi grill in Epcot in Japan. Recently, we discovered Ale and Compass at the Yacht Club the last time we went. It had phenomenal food, so much so that, are we going twice?
No, we're going once, but we're going for breakfast.
Okay.
Like, we wanted to go there for dinner, but there's so many other places we'll tell you about. But yes, we like Carl, we like Boma as well, but that one is currently not open.
Yes, yeah. But we've only been to Boma once.
It was crowded.
It was very busy.
Downside.
It was very busy when we went.
Our favorite Animal Kingdom Lodge one, honestly, and we're doing it this trip, so we'll see if it's still just as good, is Sanaa.
Yes.
And that one's quieter, not as busy. And since it's not a buffet, you're not up and down constantly.
Yeah, we had a great time at Sanaa. When actually was that our honeymoon that we went? No, it was. It was the trip after our honeymoon, I think it was, that we went to Sanaa. But we'll talk more about those plans at the next one for sure. But yes, this is our 10th anniversary. We were initially supposed to go to Hawaii. That was our plan. We were going to Aulani. Of course, we still got to keep it Disney because we love everything Disney.
It turns out we probably could have gone, but we didn't know that.
We probably could have gone. You had to book. So what we were going to do for going to Aulani is we were going to rent DVC points, because it's like half the cost of it's like $700 a night to go to Aulani, which is the most that we would have spent for a hotel, but we would have spent it for our 10th anniversary. And the DVC points, though, was going to be 350 is essentially what it worked out to, 350 a night for the points. The only problem was there was no refunds on DVC rentals, and you pretty much had to make your reservation at 6 months in advance. And that would have put us making our reservation in like November, and just way too much was up in the air in November for us to make a decision on going to Hawaii. I don't even think people could visit Hawaii at that point, could they?
I don't know if they could have. And at that point, and then even when Aulani said they were reopening, the Luau wasn't reopening, and there was a couple other restaurants that weren't reopening. Apparently now the Luau is reopening, and their character breakfast is coming back. So all the stuff that we actually wanted to do is.
What were we watching the other day? It was like some YouTube video on that like had a luau sort of thing to it. I don't remember either. And
then it was also just the whole matter of all the COVID testing required to even go to Hawaii. I know some people who have gone to Hawaii, but they said, you
both have vaccinated now. Would that have mattered?
I don't know if that. Someone told me even a month ago that didn't even count yet. Like you still had to go through. Really? I don't know. I think it's constantly changing, and I think now maybe the vaccines do count. But
whatever the case may be,
we decided against it.
We weren't going to Hawaii, so we were going to Walt Disney World. And initially, we were just going to go as a family again. And Amy wanted to maybe go to Walt Disney World by ourselves after the 50th anniversary, when all the Tron and everything had reopened. But we just decided to go this trip or this year, and that we were given one kid to one grandparent and one kid to another grandparent, just because they live in two different places here in San Diego, and we need our son's going to school. So the grandma that lives closest to his school is going to watch him, but she couldn't watch both kids just because she works full time as well, and our littlest one isn't in school. So Amy's parents are going to watch him. So the kids are going to be separated, but at the same time, they're going to get one-on-one time from the grandparents. And both kids are so looking forward to it. They're not even upset that they're not going to Walt Disney World with us, because they're so excited to go. My oldest with grandma, and my youngest with Nanny and Papa. But Goodman asks, just curious, how long have you lived in San Diego? Seem very knowledgeable about the zoo, SeaWorld, and Disneyland. So yeah, surprising that I've never been to Knott's. Yeah,
that is mainly due to our little kids, because for us, we figured at this age, Disneyland, we could ride more rides there and not just be stuck in Snoopy Land. So we hadn't done Knott's yet. We plan to, hopefully by next summer. The two of us may go up this summer. We'll see. But we want to try to do a family trip with the grandparents next summer. And we're hoping at that point our oldest will be tall enough to ride the majority of the rides, because he's a daredevil with no fear of roller coasters. So we know if we take him right now and he sees those big rides, he's going to be very upset that he can't ride those big rides.
So to answer your question, though, we've lived in San Diego since 2014, so going on 7 years now. And we've been going to Disneyland since before we moved here. So Amy's parents had a second home here before they moved down here permanently. They used to live in Utah, and then they, when her dad retired, they moved here. But before that, they would always vacation here. So we would come on vacation with them, and we've been going to Disneyland since, well, we got married 10 years ago. So we've only been living here for almost 7, but for 10 years we've been going to Disneyland. And as soon as we moved here, I mean, we love Disney so much that we bought passes immediately. And we go up to Disneyland about once a month. So it is an hour and a half drive for us. So we don't go as often as we go to SeaWorld. basically what we've been doing right now is we've been going to the San Diego Zoo, and we go to SeaWorld, and we go to the safari park, and then we go to SeaWorld, and then we go to the zoo, and then we go to SeaWorld. So we go to SeaWorld twice as often as we go to the other two, and that's primarily just because SeaWorld has so much more to do that everything changes there all the time, between the candy trails and the events that are going on, the Seven Seas Food Festival, and those sorts of things. Plus, they have rides when they're open. And so our kids really love rides. And so we go to SeaWorld, I'd say, more than we do the zoo. But it used to be that we go to Disneyland once a month, previously when it was open. And so we've been to Disneyland now, well, once a month for at least 5 years, minus summers. I would say that a good 40 or 50 times we've been to Disneyland. But again, primarily because the rides there are more the age of our children. In fact, our oldest, the only ride that he cannot ride now is Incredicoaster. He can ride everything else. He's tall enough for it. And our youngest is quickly reaching him. There is a 3-year age difference between them, but only like a 4-inch height difference. And our youngest is really, really tall. He's in the 85th percentile. Our oldest is the really, really short in the 30th percentile. So our youngest is going to be able to do everything that our oldest did about a year to a year and a half before he reached that mark. But Benjamin can even ride everything over 40 inches now, which is a huge ton of rides. I think he can ride Space Mountain. So it is scary. A little 3-year-old can ride Space Mountain. Yeah, so we've been to Disneyland a lot. I actually haven't been to Legoland at all. That's another one, even though that's right here in San Diego, that we haven't been to yet. And fully plan to go to Legoland now that our kids are a little bit older. I want to get to some of these other questions that are here. Have we tried the funnel cake at SeaWorld?
You haven't? I have a long time ago. So back before we were even married, way, way back, when we used to come here for vacations every year growing up, if we did a day at SeaWorld, it was like our tradition to end the night getting a funnel cake. So I have had them, but it's been a long time. So we'll have to get one at some point.
Yeah, we just got a funnel cake at Knott's Berry Farm. If you watched that video when we were there for the Taste of Boysenberry Festival. And that's the first funnel cake I've probably eaten in like 5 years. My mother loves funnel cakes, so I got tons of funnel cakes growing up. Anytime we went to a theme park, funnel cake. And you can thank my mother for my love of theme parks, and you can thank her dad for her love of theme parks, because they are both of them are roller coaster fanatics. They will ride the tallest, most scariest roller coaster that they can find. Yeah, and we're not that adventurous, but my mother took me to theme parks all the time, and she would always get funnel cake. So she loves funnel cake. I enjoy funnel cake, but just haven't tried it here. Have we ever been to Aquatica? No. I want to, though. I like water parks, but we won't be able to take the kids probably. And I mean, I bet you they have kid stuff there. I'm sure they do. But it's one of those things where basically grandma would have to sit there in the kiddie area with them the whole time while Amy and I go and do some of the big ones. Or we just leave the kids behind. Probably will for the very first time we go to Aquatica. I think we'll leave the kids behind. And so I want to look at upgrading our pass to allow us to go to Aquatica once it opens. But SeaWorld has not announced when Aquatica is opening yet. That is something that is still to be determined. Oh, I guess Aquatica used to be Knott's Soak City. I did not know that. Josh says, keep up the good work. Hope you see my comments. I do see your comments. Very appreciate your comments on the video. Just a little nugget for those of you guys who are watching. If you're not quite sure how YouTube works and all that sort of thing, there is a little bit of a scientific algorithm that determines, how YouTube determines to show a channel to other people and to a wider audience and that sort of thing. And the more people that engage, that is hitting that like button or leaving a comment, YouTube likes to see that. It means that the video is good and it's engaging its audience and that sort of thing. So always appreciate it if you leave a like and a comment when you watch our videos. If you've ever watched the Tim Tracker, he's probably one of the most popular, if not the most popular, theme park attraction vlogger in the US that I'm aware of. 800-something thousand subscribers he's got. So you probably heard of the Tim Tracker. He always used to say, now it's time to pay the price at the end of his videos. And that's what he meant, if you didn't know that. Now it's time to pay the price. Go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, comment, that sort of thing. Because that really tells YouTube that people like the channel, people like the video, and then it'll show it to other people. Something you may not know is that sometimes people will push the unlike button or the down like button or whatever you want to call it when like news that they don't like is in the video. For instance, today we shared SeaWorld Rides were reopening, and a couple of people put the thumbs down, probably because
they're out of state.
They're out of state and they can't come. Well, what you're doing by telling YouTube, by downvoting, you're not downvoting the content. Oh, I'm disappointed that SeaWorld closed rides. What you're doing is you're telling YouTube, I don't want to see videos like this anymore. So it means that you won't see videos from us about news. So don't hit that down button if you want to keep seeing our videos, but you don't like the news. That would be something where you can vent in the comments. Oh, I'm disappointed or I'm sad, that sort of thing. That's just a little inside work on how YouTube functions. Ethan asks, how can you go to SeaWorld even with all the bad publicity? You actually had some things to say about that. What were your thoughts?
More of the opposite standpoint of a lot of people don't realize how much SeaWorld does outside of the parks. If you follow SeaWorld on Facebook, they have a SeaWorld Rescues page. I think it's a separate page, or they'll at least post it on their regular SeaWorld page too. But a lot of behind the scenes things that you don't see. I've seen a little bit because when I was in high school, I did one of the like behind the scenes high school tour things. And they took you to the areas where they show you where they're rehabilitating the animals. And a lot of the animals that aren't there, or that sometimes are there in like the smaller pools in the back, are ones that they're working with, and then they release them back into the wild. And I feel like the parks don't do enough of showing that, but their main goal is to release back into the wild as many animals as they can. They
do talk about in their shows, if you attend their shows there, they talk about, if you see an animal in the area that's hurt, give them a call because they want to come help that animal and rescue it. They do advertise how many animals they've rescued and really rehabilitated and then sent back out into the wild. And they do really do a lot of good work with regards to that. The R is for Rescue show. I know it's Sesame Street themed, but they really do. They bring out a lot of animals and they talk about that. And so the animals that they have there at SeaWorld usually are the animals that they can't release into the wild. Either they were bred in captivity and they wouldn't survive in the wild, or they have some sort of ailment that prevents them from being released. If they release them, they will die. Somebody else, some other animal rather, will kill them. So those are the ones that they have there at SeaWorld. I'm going to skip a few questions just to continue talking about this topic. Oscar asked if we've seen the movie Blackfish, and I have not actually. I don't know if you have.
I've heard of it, but I've never actually watched it.
But
in terms of the other question, the trainer did not get eaten.
Yeah.
There was an incident with
there's been a few orca attacks, and I've done a lot of reading on this lately. So usually when an orca attacks, it is just showing displeasure, and it's not actually harming the worker. You'll actually see them nowadays, if the orca is not cooperating, they'll let the orca sort of work its aggression out and pull the show back after the orca has worked through some things. But the one in particular that the Blackfish was about was Tillicum, and I think I'm pronouncing that. Tillicum had some issues, and it was just a matter of them needing to keep a better watch on him. He was one of those animals that couldn't be released back into the wild, and he's the one that pretty much had all the aggression. Of course, Tillicum is gone now. He died a few years ago, so it's no longer an issue. But they, as soon as issue with Dawn Branshaw took place, I think that's her last name, they took all the trainers out of the water. It used to be that the trainers would ride with the orcas, and now they don't. But yeah, that's what Damien just said as well.
Shows, if you watch the orca show now compared to like the orca show I grew up with, like growing up, you had the trainers like in the water, and the orca would, push the trainer out of the water, and they had a bunch of other things, and like the trainers were in the water now back then, and now they're not really. Yeah,
but I'll move away from the comments on that, because honestly I haven't seen the movie, and I probably should if it's still available to watch, but I can't really speak any more about it than what we already have. Let's see here.
We've not been to the Del Mar.
Yeah, that was the question. Tandy asked, hi Tandy, he said, have we gone to the Del Mar Fair? And if so, what's our favorite food? We have not, just because it's always been one of those really busy things that we haven't wanted to. I definitely will try to go this next time. We thought about going to the dinosaur thing that they've got there right now. Is it still going on? If it's still going on, we'll think about it. It's basically like a drive-through area with dinosaurs. I can't remember, Jurassic something. Jurassic Quest, something like that's going on at Del Mar right now, or it might be ended now. I honestly can't speak to it, but no, we haven't been to the fair. That's the short of it for sure.
That's mainly because we like theme parks. I mean, while they're crowded, you can kind of avoid crowd. Yeah. And I feel like fairs you can't. And so, I mean, this was even pre-COVID. We just didn't ever do fairs. So
yeah, this is a personal opinion. You may disagree, but fairs, any ride that can be torn down and reset up again
in a week.
I just don't know how much I trust the stability of those things. Doozer Chris asks, what do you think we'll do with the Ride by Explorer Cafe that's always closed?
Oh, the one that's like up on the thing there. I don't think there's ever plans to reopen that. Like it was only here I never even wrote it because it was here for like 3 months and then it went bye-bye.
If you're not sure what he's talking about, so there's the moray eels and there's the octopus viewing area, and above that is a track for what looks to me like a people mover type ride. That would be kind of what it was?
Sort of.
Or is it more like Alice in Wonderland?
It was more like Alice in Wonderland because it was like little yellow submarine type vehicles. But
I blew out the screen again. Every time I turn my head.
I don't think there's any plans on reopening that. I don't know what happened with it because I never went on it. But if that's the one you're referring to.
Miguel says, one last thing, when watching the movie, watch it The Very Open Mind. Yeah, definitely for sure. For sure. Goodman also says this year that the fair won't have rides. So yeah, we'll have to check it out for sure. I think it's about time that we do. The first couple of years that we lived in San Diego, we pretty much just stuck to El Cajon. We didn't venture much out of that area. We were just getting, our bearings and everything. Of course, we went up to Disneyland and that sort of thing. But we just recently, I would say, started exploring more, maybe within the last year, probably just because.
I think we were busy because, the first couple of years we lived here, I was working a lot more than I was working.
That's true.
When we first moved here, I was working pretty much 5 nights a week, opposite his schedule. So he would get home, I would leave to go to work.
See, that time of our life was so traumatic that I've completely blanked it out of my memory because I forgot about that. Yes, when we first moved here, cost of living in San Diego is very expensive. And I had to work 2 jobs, and Amy worked a part-time job, and we worked opposite shifts. And it was actually to the point where the second I walked in the door from work, our son would look at mommy and say bye, because he just knew that mommy had to go to work. And it actually, that kind of broke our heart a bit, that he just never had both parents. But it's what we had to do to survive. And Amy still works part-time, but she works part-time for the joy of it now more than the necessity of it.
So if you come to Santee to Chick-fil-A,
Yes.
Say hi to me.
Amy works at the Santee Chick-fil-A, usually in the evenings, Tuesdays and Saturdays. Those are generally when she works. But Miggle said, park president said they are planning to do something with that space, but probably way down the road. So we're talking about that ride again. That's up top. Way down the road when things get better financially. Yeah. They're definitely not in a good space financially. Amy and I have actually wondered whether SeaWorld was even going to survive everything that went on. It was a discussion that we had earlier on in the pandemic. Will SeaWorld even survive this? And we knew that the theme park would still exist because
get bought out by somebody else.
Because I mean, obviously there's all those rides there, and nobody's gonna just waste that space. But we thought maybe if SeaWorld financially bottomed out, that somebody like Cedar Fair would come in and buy it out. But
we both said it could have been a whole different story, I think, if Orlando hadn't been out, like if the other two parks hadn't been able to reopen when they did. But the fact that San Antonio and Orlando had been open way before even SeaWorld was allowed to reopen as a zoo, and then that helped as well.
In fact, the first SeaWorld that I ever went to doesn't exist anymore. Or maybe it still exists. I don't know. Geauga Lake. Geauga Lake in Ohio. I grew up in Pennsylvania, which had plenty of theme parks around it, thankfully. A little tiny children's theme park 5 minutes from my house called Idlewild. And then we had Kennywood in Pittsburgh. We had Sandcastle, which was a water park not too far away. Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio. And then we had Six Flags, which before that was, what was that called?
Don't look at me.
Maybe it was just called Geauga Lake. I can't remember if that was the location or not. But it had before it turned to Six Flags, it was a theme park that was tied into SeaWorld. They were right next to each other, and we went there quite frequently. And then Six Flags bought it out, and then it went bankrupt. So that theme park's not there anymore. But did you know? Yes, Miggle asks if. Bye, Damien. Damien said he has to go. Good chatting with you. Miggle asked if we knew that the 2021 coaster got canceled. Yes. So Wild Arctic used to have the ride there in Wild Arctic. That's flight simulator. It was very similar to Star Tours. And I rode that once, maybe twice. I think I rode it twice. And they closed that ride, and they were planning on gutting the whole area and turning it into a roller coaster that went back out into the parking lot. But they did cancel. Yes, they canceled that project. I did know that. Have I heard about at the zoo about the gorilla breaking the glass because they didn't like people banging on the glass? Yeah, I did hear about the glass structure issues, whatever. I don't know if it was here. I can't remember. There's been different things about gorillas in the news lately. Our gorillas had COVID a couple of months back, and that area was closed for a bit. I know that I feel like there's always like things up in the gorilla, like a wall that's down or needs restructured or something. The biggest piece of news for San Diego Zoo, though, was when the man got charged by the elephant the other day.
Don't go into the exhibits.
The video that we are posting tomorrow, that's scheduled for tomorrow, is a tour of the Elephant Odyssey at the San Diego Zoo. And in that, we talk about that very briefly. The guy who took his 2-year-old into the elephant exhibit across the fence and was charged by an elephant. We kind
of wish the elephant had actually gotten him, as bad as that
we don't. But
he did at least get arrested.
He got arrested for child endangerment and trespassing. But it's like, was it worth it? No, not really. Stuff like that comes out of the San Diego Zoo. I'd say once every 3 months or so. Something crazy happens that makes the news. But
I feel like that's all zoos.
Yeah.
Somebody does something stupid.
While we're talking about rides reopening, it would be good to talk about the San Diego Zoo Safari Park. So I had a question on our YouTube channel in the comments when we announced that the rides would be reopening. And that was whether or not the safari park would close and become a theme park as well to California outside residents. The reason for that that they were asking was because there is a ride at SeaWorld, or not SeaWorld, at the San Diego Zoo Safari Park, the tram ride, the Safari Tram Ride. It's a 30-minute tram ride if you've never done it. It reminds me a lot of the Safari, Kilimanjaro Safari at Animal Kingdom. Of course, it's not as big and it doesn't have as many variety of animals, but it's still a 30-minute tram ride through the valley, showing you all the different animals. And I love that ride. It's one of the biggest draws for us for the safari park. We love it. And it hasn't been running since COVID. Now, they had signage up in their park. They reopened in August. They reopened in August of 2020, and they've had signage in their park saying it was going to reopen later that year. Well, it never reopened later that year. My theory is that it probably can now reopen under this theme park guidelines, but if they reopen it, does that mean they're going to close the park? And again, I would have told you before this morning that SeaWorld probably would not close its park and would just keep the rides closed because they wouldn't want to shut out all the guests beyond California residents. I was proven wrong there. So, SeaWorld announced that it is closing out of the blue in 4 days. If you are a non-resident, you can't come to SeaWorld anymore. I don't think that's going to happen to the safari park. I mean, cross my fingers here. I don't think that's going to happen. Will they reopen the ride, though? I don't know. They have the balloon going. The balloon is technically a ride, is it not? I would think the balloon would classify as a ride. And the Skyfari at the zoo has been running.
I mean, I honestly don't get why they can't do the tram, because you could easily space out groups, and it's outside. But
yeah. Yeah, go ahead, Oscar. Feel free. Tell us a joke. Always happy to hear jokes. While you're doing that, though, I'll continue that train of thought. I do hope that the tram ride at the safari park reopens, and I don't think they're going to close the park over it, though, just because there's so many other things in that park that classify as rides that were able to be open even before the governor announced it. I just think they're still trying to figure out the best way to put people on there, and I don't know. Well, we'll see. I'll let you know on the channel if that ride reopens, but I don't think the safari park's going to close. So if you've got plans, I think you're probably safe there. We were going to talk about Avengers Campus as well in this. I know this is a SeaWorld live stream, but we've kind of been all over the place in the last hour chatting with you guys, so probably won't be too much to go on that. So Avengers Campus, before we do that, Oscar asks, why are ghosts bad liars? I have no idea. So you're going to have to tell me, because I don't even have a guess. Because you can see right through them. Maybe that would be a guess if I had to make a guess. But so what was I going to say? Oh yeah, because you can see right through them. Excellent, Oscar. Yep. Avengers Campus. June 4th was the announcement today. Avengers Campus will reopen then. Of course, Disneyland is going to open on April 30th, and they wanted to hold off the opening of Avengers Campus to a more strategic time. I'm actually really shocked that they announced it for June 4th. I figured they'd wait until after June 15th, but maybe they're doing June 4th because it's kind of like a soft opening. I haven't read on this, so I've been doing a lot of research on the SeaWorld San Diego rides for this live chat, but honestly, I didn't look at any of the news articles for the Avengers Campus, so I couldn't speak intelligently about that. But maybe they're doing that as a soft opening, so the California residents get access to it for a couple of weeks before they reopen to everybody, if that's what they're going to do on June 15th. But there is only one new ride there. Of course, they had Mission Breakout previously. And now they have a new Spider-Man ride, Web Slinger ride. I did read about that a little bit. It looks like the web ride, it seems to me, did you read about it at all? It seems to me it's like an Astro Blasters type ride.
I've heard it's similar, but more interactive. Like it's probably more like Toy Story Mania.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I've heard it's 3D.
Yeah.
Like Toy Story Mania.
They just said that you'll get web shooters.
Like you'll get something in your hand that, like,
and you'll get to shoot webs like Spider-Man.
Because my guess is you have like some digital thing that's like strapped to you, and then when you like move your arm, that creates something on the screen. Yeah. So unlike Astro Blasters where it's a laser.
Yeah.
And then answer dues. Chris.
Dues or Chris.
We have been
go to the Santee Drive-In.
Twice, I think.
Yes, we do go to the Santee Drive-In. Haven't been in a little while, but we've been in the past for sure. Yeah.
We went back when our oldest was really little because he was the type that we could stick him in the car seat and he would fall asleep once the movie got going. But our youngest now is the type who would
our youngest
and scream and want his bed.
I try to edit out a lot of the screaming and the fussing from our videos, but every now and again they're just too funny to edit out, so I leave some of the things in. But our youngest makes it very difficult to do a lot of things, and going to the Santee Drive-In is one of them. So we haven't been back in a few years. Yeah, Miggles commenting on the coming very soon for Manta. I don't know if you were on when we talked about that at the beginning. We talked about that in like the first 5 minutes of the live stream. What does it mean that Manta is coming very soon? So if you look at the news articles for the SeaWorld Rides reopening, they all say that Manta is going to be reopening with the rest of the rides. They say Electric Eel, Manta, and then they list all the other rides. But their website says that it will be coming very soon. So my guess is that it is just not ready mechanically, but that as soon as it is, they will open it. So April 12th, all the rides that they've mentioned on there that will open on April 12th will. And if mechanically Manta's ready to go on April 12th, it'll open on April 12th. If it needs a little bit of help, a little bit of work, April 13th, April 14th, April 15th, whatever, they'll reopen it as soon as humanly possible. They just have some more kinks that they need to work out on Manta because it's been sitting so long and they haven't been testing it like they have been some of the other rides. And so it's possible that it needs a good, like the whole track might need oiling and that might need some maintenance that they just haven't had a chance to do yet. So Manta coming very soon. That's what I think that means.
We hope you get to ride it.
Yes. They hope you get to ride it in a couple weeks. Oscar asks if we've been to Universal Studios. No, unfortunately. So we had plans to go to Universal before the pandemic hit. My buddy loves going to Universal, and he was like, "Oh, you guys have to come with me. You have to come." So we made plans. We were going to go with him. We were going to leave the kids at grandma's. We were going to wake up at like 5 in the morning and drive up there because it's a little bit further away. And then it just didn't happen because of the pandemic. We do have plans to go to Universal Studios in Orlando. I've been to Universal Studios in Orlando growing up. That was one of our visits when we'd go to Walt Disney World. We'd always do a day at Universal Studios. Islands of Adventure didn't exist back then, so I've never been to Islands of Adventure. She's never been to Universal Studios Orlando at all. So we're going there in just 3.5 weeks, just for a day on Wednesday. We're going in there. But we definitely will go to Universal Studios Hollywood at least once. I don't know if it's going to be a place that we buy an annual pass to and try to go to regularly. We're more local to San Diego, of course. We live down here. So Legoland, SeaWorld, the San Diego Zoo, and the San Diego Zoo Safari Park, those 4 places will be our primary 4 that we talk about here on this channel. We'll go to Disneyland once annual passes come back. We'll go to Disneyland as often as we possibly can because we love Disneyland. And the other theme parks, so Six Flags, Universal Studios, Knott's Berry Farm.
My guess is once the kids are older, we'll drop Legoland and we'll probably do Knott's as an option.
Yes. Yeah, I think that because Knott's is still in Anaheim, so it's not too far away for us to be able to make it there. But we'll at least go to the other parks. I would say we'll try to go to the other parks at least once a year. That would be a good estimation for us. if this channel ever turns into something more than just having fun and what if you're not super familiar with the way that YouTube works, once you reach 1,000 subscribers, you can monetize. And so that's why when you're watching YouTube, and an ad pops up or that sort of thing. And right now, all of our videos are ad free, and videos will pop or ads will pop up after we get 1,000 subscribers. But basically, for every 1,000 views that you have, ad views, mind you, not video views, but ad views, you'll get some, oh, no worries, between $5 and $10 or something like that. So if we ever get to the point where we can have more free spending money to be able to get passes at those other places, I'll definitely try to go to them more often. But right now, just for affordability purposes, San Diego, SeaWorld, and then the zoo, we already have passes to those because it's like $100 a person for annual passes for that, like an extra 10 or 20 bucks per over the ticket, like regular one-day ticket price, and you can get an annual pass at those places. Disneyland's a bit more expensive. Disneyland's like pushing $400 a person now. You have to go at least 3 times to Disneyland to recoup your money, from what I remember in the stats we did. And then after that, 4th, 5th, 6th time, that's when you start to save money at Disneyland. Knott's Berry Farm, I think, is $200 a person, so it's cheaper than Disneyland. But we've debated. So Disneyland refunded us our annual pass because they canceled it, so we have all the money back from our annual pass from Disneyland. So we'll probably just use that to buy. You can just let the cat in. I don't know if you can hear that on the screen, but our cat's meowing. Yeah, so we'll probably use that money to buy a Legoland pass and get the Legoland pass when that opens. And I'll probably even bite the bullet and get a Disneyland pass again once they announce the Disneyland passes.
Depending on what they are.
Depending on what they cost, because if they don't have SoCal plans and they just the lowest plan is like $750 a person, I'm just not sure I can afford $750 a person. But we'll see. That's basically the short of it. We'll see for sure. But yeah. Oh, that was a long rabbit trail from Avengers Campus. Avengers Campus, June 4th. Amy and I may try to go. June 4th, actually, that is our actual anniversary date. So we're going May 1st to Walt Disney World. We're going a month early, primarily because as we were looking at the days to go, after Memorial Day, Disney World just looked like it was going to be a madhouse. I use a crowd calendar. We love crowd calendars, and specifically, I think Undercover Tourist. I think that was the name of the crowd calendar we looked at. They rank all the busyness from 1 to 10, and they were sky high after Memorial Day. So we just decided to go before Memorial Day. But our actual anniversary is hi, Cool Edits. Good to have you here with us. No worries. Hour and 20 minutes into the live chat, and a lot of you guys are still here, so appreciate that. And we're having fun. So we haven't closed it down yet or anything. Glad you're able to make it. We're just talking about Avengers Campus and what our plans for Disneyland and that sort of thing are. We've steered away from all the SeaWorld stuff because we've talked about it a couple of times now. But with Avengers Campus being announced today, June 4th, and that being our anniversary, it just sounds perfect. Like maybe we should try to go. And
it all depends on if we get a ticket and a reservation.
Yes.
And
so
like every other Californian that's probably trying to go.
So April 15th, tickets go on sale. We will have to be very quick on the draw to try to get tickets for June 4th. The downsides for going June 4th is it is going to be a madhouse on June 4th. Everybody is going to want to go to California Adventure on June 4th. So I don't know if we go on June 4th, I don't even know how much we would get to see or how much we would get to do because the park would just be insanely crowded. At the same time, I'd love to be able to see it on opening day, show you guys everything, as soon as possible and that sort of thing. So we'll see. We should be at 1,000 subscribers by June 4th, so I should be able to live stream from Avengers Campus if we do make it in there.
Days, things always go wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's that too, and so it would be more about seeing things. So Amy and I are more into atmosphere than rides. I mean, yeah, we love the rides and we're going for the rides. But like our plan for Walt Disney World this year, this will be our 10th trip to Walt Disney World. And since it's just the two of us, and we go to Disneyland. No, we haven't been to Disneyland in a year, but we go to Disneyland all the time. The goal for this trip to Walt Disney World is not to go ride crazy. On our honeymoon, we went ride crazy, and we went from ride to ride to ride to ride to ride, and it was always bustle, hustle, and bustle, and go and go and go. This trip is going to be more. I just want to relax. I want to sit down. I just want to sit in a park bench in Epcot and listen to music and eat some food. That's all I want to do. I'm not going to be hard to please. I don't need to stand in a really long line. Sit in a park bench. People watch. Listen to the theme area music and eat some snacks. That's. I'll be happy with that. But Cool Edit says that we're one of the coolest YouTubers. I've only watched this for a few days, and most tubers don't even notice the comments. So, yeah, I love interacting with you guys. It's fun. I will tell you. So, I think we talked about a bit about this earlier. I posted my first video on YouTube, like, I don't know, beginning of 2019 sometime. And we just posted one random video here or there. I was really excited. I posted our Disneyland trip for 2019 when we went in 2019 in December. I posted that Disneyland trip. And then, of course, the COVID shut everything down. And so I didn't post any videos until we went to Walt Disney World in September of 2020. And after we got back from that, because I used to use a Handycam, and the Handycam wasn't the greatest quality in the world. And because of the rain, I ended up using my phone for videoing a lot of that trip. Well, the phone video, because it was so much better quality, took up a ton of space. And it took up so much space on my hard drive that I could no longer keep our memories on my hard drive. I just had a tiny little hard drive. So I decided, hey, I'm going to upload all those to YouTube. And I did. And honestly, I mean, we had like 10 subscribers at the time, and we didn't get a lot of traction. So I just kind of lost interest in that. But when everything reopened back in the end of January, February of this year, I just was like, you know what? I want to post a video to YouTube again. So I took a video of the San Diego Zoo Safari Park, and the video was just, I hadn't even planned it. I didn't plan anything. I just took my camera and I just wanted to video our trip to the safari park, because we hadn't been in 6 months. And I felt like, well, what if this closes down again? I want to have those memories. So we videoed it. And while we were walking through, it was like, oh, that's still closed. Oh, that's still closed. It was our first time back. Oh, that's still closed. And I was like, after I watched the replay of everything, it's like, well, this is a video about what's open and what's not. So I just uploaded it to YouTube with that title, and it basically blew up. Like, everybody was finding it and searching for it. And the excitement of seeing people asking questions, oh, was this open? Or what do you think about that? And then being able to answer those questions and to be able to help people and help you guys have a great trip. It was just really exciting. So it's like, hey, I want to keep doing this. I love being able to be a help to you guys. If our information and our insight, because we go so often, can be a help to you guys, then that's what we wanted to do. So I just started shooting more videos. We only did one video a week for like the first 2 or 3 weeks. But then again, we were getting so much interest. I just started taking even more videos. And now I do my best to get one video a day all the way through the whole week. And we go on the weekends. So I'll try to pre-plan out what we're going to do that week for videos, and I'll try to get all of them. But yeah, always happy to interact in the comments. Love you guys for stick around and watching. If you're still here an hour and a half later and you've been here since the start, you guys are totally awesome. And I also said that I think Carl probably went to bed. I don't know. Carl, are you still there? If you're still there, say hi. Carl is totally awesome, because Carl gave me the idea to do this live stream. He didn't say hop on a live stream and chat with me, but last night he just asked me a question about some news related things that had popped up about the blueprint. And I wasn't going to talk about it, to be honest with you, because I felt like every other YouTuber under the sun the second that it was announced on different things like with Disneyland and the Blueprint and things that happened the other day. My phone, I have all the other local YouTubers set to notifications on my phone because I just, I want to see what they're posting. And so my phone like blew up with everybody jumping on at 2 p.m., 3 p.m. And I was at work and it's like, hey, there's no possible way that I can post a video at the same time that all these people are. And I felt like my video just would have been drowned out in the loudness of everything that was going on. So I was like, I'm not going to bother. Then Carl asked me a question. Hey, Carl is still there. Carl asked me a question. He wanted to hear our thoughts. And that's when it hit me. It's like, whoa, they want to hear my thoughts. So there's other people talking about this, but somebody wants to hear what I think, and that was totally awesome. Carl, I love you for that. Thank you, man. Totally, it gave me excitement. I wanted to hop on a live stream just to chat about what Carl asked me, and we did. And I'll tell you, I was just planning on hopping on for 10 minutes. 10 minutes was what the live stream was going to be. I was going to hop on 10 minutes. I was going to talk about what I was going to talk about. If anybody showed up, then great. If nobody showed up, then oh, well, whatever. And then like 40 minutes later, I'm still chatting. Now, unbeknownst to me, those of you who are watching that live chat, I told you that my wife was asleep on the couch already because she was when I came up here. And I just thought she'd go back to sleep on the couch. No, she didn't. She was waiting for me to finish the whole time. So she knows that for sure. Dragonblood says he thinks that Legoland passes are coming back next month. He is a MC model citizen, I think is the term, that if I remember right, at Legoland. So he works there at Legoland. So cool inside information there. Legoland passes may be coming back next month, so that'll be cool for sure. Cool Edit says, I'm not sure if you already do this or not, but TikTok will be a great idea for shorter videos. Yeah. Actually, YouTube has something called YouTube Shorts. We haven't tried that yet. I don't even think I have access to it. Let me check if I even have access because it's in beta at the moment. No, it doesn't. So I don't know if this is, it's just blown out. You can't see anything there, but all the options that I've got are upload video and go live. And if I hit the go live button on my phone, it says you do not meet the requirements to go live. Not to go live on the mobile anyway. Well, where was I going with that? Oh, TikTok. Yeah. Again, TikTok's like Twitter to me. I don't know anything about it. And it feels like it's probably for the younger generation. Like I should probably get with it. I don't know. But if I do those shorter type videos, I honestly think I'd try the YouTube Shorts aspect once that goes out of beta and opens up to more people. It's basically TikTok for YouTube. Of course, everybody has to copy the latest social media craze. Like when Instagram added stories before Facebook owned Instagram, then Facebook added stories, and that sort of thing. And then Facebook bought out Instagram, and now they own them. YouTube is kind of doing the same thing. Oh, TikTok, look at that phenomenon. So they did something similar as well. Dan Hunziker popped in. Hi, Dan. Good to have you join us. Says, thanks for the channel. We caught ourselves in the background for SeaWorld Fireworks episode, and asks, how did we meet? So pretty cool that you were there in the fireworks video. There was somebody else as well, or maybe it was you. I actually can't remember. Was it you who said that you were just a couple of rows down and a couple off to the left? I can't remember. Maybe that was you guys. But I think that person said they actually didn't see themselves in the video. So not sure if that was you or if that was somebody else, but she and I actually met at college. We went to Pensacola Christian College in Pensacola, Florida. So we were Florida residents for quite a while, went down to Walt Disney World when we were Florida residents. But that's where we met. She's originally from Utah. I'm from Pennsylvania. We met at college. And then we moved to San Diego. So, how about that? But
everyone thinks we're Navy.
Everyone thinks we're Navy. We went from Pensacola to San Diego. We are not Navy. And I keep my hair short too. So I always get questions like, are you in the Navy? No, I'm not. But we knew that we weren't going to move back to Pennsylvania because Pennsylvania is gray and overcast
all the time.
80 to 90% of the year there. It's miserable. After living in Florida for 7 or 8 years, where it's called the Sunshine State for a reason, I didn't want to go back to gloom and doom, Pennsylvania. Amy is from Utah, and I try not to get super religious or anything on the channel, not really talk about that sort of thing, but Utah has got a heavy Mormon influence there, and if you're not Mormon, you don't really fit in all that well. So that's basically all I'm going to say about that. And since we're not Mormon, we didn't fit in really well. So we weren't going to move back there. In fact, her parents moved out of Utah shortly after we moved to San Diego. Right before them, then they moved to San Diego. Cool Edit says he has to go. No worries. Have a good night. We're actually going to go pretty shortly here too. Been going for an hour and a half. But
lived in Logan, Utah. So
did somebody else?
An hour and a half north of Salt Lake.
Yeah.
So almost in Idaho.
Actually, cool bit of information. If you are a roller coaster aficionado, S&S, the roller coaster brand, Stan Checkett's, the guy who owns that, was her neighbor. So they had a testing facility right there near her house where you should be able to see all the latest roller coasters that they are about ready to roll out across the world in demo right down the road, pretty much.
It's Cross Valley.
Yeah,
but
pretty neat. So,
and then we do not have plans for SeaWorld Orlando. I don't know if you were on here earlier, but we are going to Disney World in about 3 weeks.
Yep.
3 weeks tomorrow. For our 10th anniversary.
I'll tell you, I wanted to go to SeaWorld Orlando when we were trying to figure out what to do and where to go when on this trip. I was like, I'd love to squeeze in a SeaWorld Orlando day, but we love Disney too much, and
we didn't want to give up another Disney
day. I didn't want to sacrifice another Disney day. I'll just walk you through our trip. So we're leaving April 30th. We are flying out the night before our trip. This actually happened to us. We got forced to do this last trip. We had planned an overnight red-eye flight from Friday to Saturday, and then we were going to start our trip on Saturday back in September. Well, because of COVID, flights were being consolidated because there weren't enough people on them, so they canceled our red-eye flight and they moved our flight to earlier that Friday. And so we just left on a Friday. We got down to Orlando at like 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and we grabbed a hotel. And then we were able to go into check into our resort at like 9 a.m. in the morning, go to Epcot or whatever for the day. And so we really liked that. Because coming from San Diego, even if you leave at like 6 a.m. in the morning, because of the 3-hour time change and flight switches, you don't get until 4 or 5 in the evening.
Right now, the earliest flight that I looked, at least on Southwest, got you in at 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we're getting in the night before.
Before we continue on with that, since the main aspect of this is SeaWorld rides, and we've obviously got a few viewers here who haven't seen that discussion because Dragonblood's asking what rides are opening at SeaWorld. We'll just run down that again real quick. So there's 2 phases for SeaWorld rides reopening. The first is going to be Electric Eel, will be their e-ticket ride, to steal a term from Disney, that will be reopening at phase 1. And then the rest of them are kids rides: Elmo's Flying Fish, Tentacle Twirl, Abby's Sea Star Spin, Oscar's Rockin' Eel, Octo Rock, Sea Dragon Drop, and Amy's yelling at our cat, so don't mind her. Those are going to be opening on April 12th. Manta is listed as coming very soon. Very soon just probably means that as soon as it's mechanically ready, it will open. It doesn't have an open date. It may be ready on April 12th. It may not. Then the rest of them, Aqua Scout, that ride is coming in phase 2, primarily just because that ride is always having issues. So it's probably not ready to go. And then the rest of them, they call them, this is warm weather rides: Bayside Sky Ride, Journey to Atlantis, Riptide Rescue, and Shipwreck Rapids. All 4 of those rides are rides that require a bit warmer weather, and so they said that once the weather warms up, they will reopen those rides. They did not announce anything for Emperor. The Emperor is still off their website. It's not even listed as a ride at SeaWorld on their website. So she mentioned that she is Marilyn Hannis, I think that was her name. The president of SeaWorld announced that they wanted to give Emperor its due justice, so they're going to wait until a more strategic time for them as a business to open Emperor, which likely means after June 15th when the blueprint goes away, and they can invite more guests back to SeaWorld, and then they can have a big celebration and release. So that's what I would imagine would happen with Emperor. Sky Tower and Tidal Twister, those two rides are temporarily closed and not slated for reopening at all. The theory would be that SeaWorld Sky Tower is enclosed. So because it's enclosed, it's not going to reopen yet. And Tidal Twister, because that ride always has issues. But more likely because guests are one half of the guests are up here, one half of the guests are down here, and they overlap. So they would probably just get too close on the ride. So I don't think they're opening that yet. We definitely can't wait to get back to SeaWorld as well. But to chat more about what we were saying with Walt Disney World, because the question, what are we going to do when we're in Orlando? We're leaving April 30th. May 1st is check-in day at Caribbean Beach Resort, and we're going into Epcot. That's a Saturday. Mm-hmm. Is that a Saturday? On Sunday, we're going into Animal Kingdom. Monday, Hollywood Studios, and Tuesday, Magic Kingdom. I should have thought about this more in advance. I was dumb for not thinking about this, but Tuesday is May the 4th.
Which means everyone's going to Hollywood Studios.
Everyone is going to Hollywood Studios, and I can't get a reservation at Hollywood Studios. And I wish I'd have thought about that ahead of time, because in the past, Disney has done really cool stuff on May the 4th. Now, they're not going to have as big of convention type stuff that they used to have, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's some exclusive merch available on May the 4th in Hollywood Studios. And unfortunately, I didn't make a reservation for that day.
The only way we would maybe go is if
we hopped.
Right now, we don't have a hopper because right now the hours for the parks are still pretty short. However, this whole past month, they've been extending the park hours every 2 weeks. And since we're still 3 weeks out, we don't know if they're extending our week or not. However, if they extend our park hours significantly, like they have the past couple weeks, we may consider upgrading to a hopper, in which case,
yeah,
we may get out.
When we went to Disney World in September, Animal Kingdom closed at 5 o'clock. Hollywood Studios and Magic Kingdom closed at 6 o'clock, and Epcot closed at 7 o'clock. And so, we were kicked out of the parks really, really early. During spring break, Epcot was open till 11. So I don't think they're going to do that, but
they do 11 to 9 at least. That's no longer.
If they can at least stay open till 9 o'clock, we'll probably get a hopper. If we get a hopper, I can see about trying to go to Hollywood Studios on Tuesday, May 4th, because that would be awesome. Even if it's really crowded, I just would love to go to Hollywood Studios on May 4th. And if you're not a Star Wars fan and you don't get why May 4th is significant, the phrase "May the Force be with you" is a Star Wars phrase, and they say "May the 4th be with you." So our video is going up every day. You guys are at Walt Disney World. Absolutely. Yes, they will. I will post something short probably, because if the parks stay open till 9, I'm not going to come back to the resort at 10 o'clock at night and edit for 2 hours, because the longer videos take a long time to edit. But I could definitely put a ride video up and that sort of thing. Since we won't be able to live stream, I wanted to mobilely live stream. If you weren't here for that conversation, to mobile live stream, you have to have 1,000 subscribers. And I think we're going to be about 150 short when we go. Yes, tell everyone you know. We're at 525 right now. We're on track to hit 850 by that week. But it's a little short for hitting 1,000. But we will post something every day that we're at Walt Disney World. A couple of the days I plan to carry my laptop down to the main Centertown and Caribbean Beach and just do something like this there at Centertown, as long as my laptop battery will last. That'll be the big key takeaway from that. But Wednesday then, May 5th, Doozer Chris said Revenge of the Fifth.
We'll be Universal.
Because Revenge of the Sixth.
Yeah.
Revenge of the Fifth. Wednesday, May 5th, we're going to Universal. That's the day we're going to Universal. And we're doing a hopper for that. We got the hopper, so we'll go both to Orlando's Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure. Primarily because we are huge Harry Potter fans, absolutely love Harry Potter. And we were just
Jurassic Park.
And Jurassic Park. We were just going to go to Islands of Adventure. I mean, honestly, that's the park we care about. All the rides that we want are there. But because the Harry Potter stuff is split between both parks, and there's one ride that the only way you can ride that ride is if you have the hopper, and that's the Hogwarts Express, because it takes you from one park to the other. We buckled down, got the hopper because we want to check out the Harry Potter stuff in both of those parks. Hi, Billy, Bob, Millie. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us today. And yeah, we've been having a really great time here. We were talking about all of the SeaWorld San Diego stuff earlier in the channel. I can rehash it again if you like. But we've just sort of ventured off into other things here lately. Then before I answer that next question, just finish up our agenda for Walt Disney World. Thursday, we are headed back to Epcot. Thursday, May 6th, we're headed back to Epcot. Animal Kingdom Friday, and then finishing up with Magic Kingdom on Saturday. We only have a half a day on Saturday because we're flying out that day. Thankfully, the return flight from Orlando to San Diego works in our favor because of the 3-hour time change. So we can leave at like 7 o'clock at night and hit San Diego by like 9, something like that. It's a lot better of a time change difference going the other way. But we picked 2 days per park at Walt Disney World, except for Magic Kingdom, which has a day and a half. And the reason Hollywood Studios is just 1 day because
it's still half-day studios.
We call it half-day studios, even with Toy Story Land and Star Wars Land open. I still feel like it's kind of like half-day studios, but. We decided on a day and a half at Magic Kingdom only because we have Disneyland, and it's basically a carbon copy. And Disneyland, I mean, if we're being honest, Disneyland is better. Pirates of the Caribbean is better. Indiana Jones is better. Matterhorn, as bumpy it is good. That sort of thing.
Space Mountain's better.
Space Mountain is better because it has music. If you've ever ridden Space Mountain at Disneyland and then gone to Walt Disney World to ride Space Mountain, it is a huge letdown. They don't have music playing.
I feel like you need a chiropractor after that. Like their Space Mountain feels like our Matterhorn.
Yeah.
That way.
Yeah. So we're just like, we don't need a full day we don't need more than a day and a half at Walt Disney World. If we'd had the kids with us, that'd have been a different story because there's so many more rides for them at Magic Kingdom. Dragonblood says that he was our second subscriber on YouTube. Awesome. Thanks so much. We appreciate you very, very much. And definitely when we come to Legoland, you'll have to let us know if you're working a weekend and where you're working, and we'll come say hi. Definitely love to meet you. Billy Bob commented on the dedication of the channel. Yes, we are trying to upload every day. I'll tell you, sometimes that's a challenge because I have to think about all the stuff that we're going to do on the weekend. Because somebody asked me the other day in one of the comments, how do you have time to go to the zoo every day? I don't. I don't. I go to the zoo on the weekend, on Saturday or on Sunday, and I try to forward think to, okay, I need 7 videos this week. So what are we going to talk about? Let's do this dining review. Let's do this tour. Let's go in this gift shop. Let's, that sort of thing. And we just plan that all out as best I can. And then we get all the footage, just on the weekends. So that's what we're doing. And yeah, it's definitely a hustle and a grind. We're enjoying it. We're having a blast, helping you guys out. And it's really fun to interact with you guys, really fun to be able to help you, especially those people who are watching, planning vacations from out of town and that sort of thing. Before I answer Kyle's question, hi Kyle, good to see you here on the live stream with us. I did want to go back and answer Dragonblood's question about Universal in Hollywood. No, we haven't been to Universal in Hollywood. that will be something down the line. We had plans before the pandemic hit to go with a friend, and we didn't make it before everything got shut down. And so we haven't been to Universal Hollywood, but definitely want to go. It'll be without the kids though, and it'll probably have to be a weekday because it'll be the first time that we've gone.
It'll probably be a while before we go, considering we're going to the one in Florida.
Yeah.
My guess is we'll hold off on.
We'll have gotten.
We'll probably hold off on Universal here for a while.
We'll have gotten our Universal fix.
Some of the other places before.
Yep. Kyle says, are you guys going to Disney California Adventure for Avengers Campus? Yeah. Talked about that a little bit earlier as well. So I know people coming in and out of the live chat here, I'm sure. I don't know if you're still watching. Sorry if we're repeating ourselves and things like that, but always happy to answer the question again for those folks who are new and didn't hear it last time. Avengers Campus opens June 4th, and that happens to be our anniversary. So it would be really awesome if we were able to go up to that. I don't think I'd take the kids, because if annual passes aren't announced yet, I don't want to pay for 4 tickets, especially not for 4 tickets in a crowded park when my kids would be really, really grumpy with me. So we would definitely go just the 2 of us. April 15th, tickets become available, so we'll try to grab it. But I imagine June 4th is going to be the first day that everybody aims for. That's just my guess. So we'll just start pushing it out after that, but try to get a day where she and I can just go after it opens. I mean, obviously the closest to it opening that we can get there, that would be great. But yeah, we want to go. Haven't been inside the Disneyland parks since February of 2020. And even when when California Adventure was open just to the public, where you could just walk in because it was basically downtown Disney. We didn't go up for that. We didn't go up to downtown Disney even at all during the closure, which I don't know why either. I was kicking myself. We went up to downtown Disney for the first time like 2 weeks ago. That video is up on our channel. And I just, the second that I stepped on the Disney property and the heavenly Disney music was playing over the loudspeaker, something in my, the tension in my shoulders and in my chest just released. And I was like, this is so nice. Why haven't we come up here? And but no, we haven't been back. But yes, we'd like to go. We are holding off on going to Disneyland more frequently until passes come back. If Disneyland holds off for a year, I hope they don't. But I mean, a theory of mine is that they're going to make people pay full price admission for the first 6 months, just because A, they need to recoup costs, and B, they know that people will pay for it right now because they're Disney deprived. So I feel like they're going to hold those annual passes out on a string to us. They're coming, they're coming, they're coming. And I know that I won't be able to hold off forever. So if we go in June, that'll at least give us some of that, at least I got to go. And then we're going to hold off for annual passes to come out for sure. But Miguel says I'm a child at heart. Absolutely. You can ask her. I haven't grown up, not at all. Has SeaWorld said anything about the Arctic ride? Yeah, we were talking about that earlier as well. The Wild Arctic ride that was planned, the little roller coaster that they were going to put in place of the flight simulator, is not doing that. That project got canceled due to funding, basically. The Emperor had already been built by the time the pandemic hit, or mostly built. And so, of course, I imagine that if Emperor hadn't been built, that project would have gotten canceled too, just because of funding issues with the pandemic.
Well, I know at one point there was some article that SeaWorld was even, before they had reopened as a zoo, they were having some financial trouble because they still had back payments even on Emperor that they still owed. But thankfully, when they reopened as a zoo, it sounded like that at least helped all that, but that's probably why they canned that other project. Yeah.
Billy Bob Millie asked if they can have some of their family members sub to our channel. Yeah, absolutely. You can tell them about it for sure. I will tell you this, that subscribers who don't really plan to watch this channel don't necessarily help us per se, because a lot of YouTube velocity, what that comes from, and we talked about this a little earlier again, So once again, apologies if I'm repeating myself to those folks who were here for that earlier. But the way YouTube works is if you like the channel, like the videos, so you hit that little thumbs up button and you leave a comment, even if you're just saying, thanks for the video, awesome guys, that sort of thing. YouTube sees the engagement and they're more likely to show our video to other people who would be interested in our video. And those people will see us for their very first time. They probably won't subscribe the very first time because that's just the way it happens. In fact, I'll tell you a story. There was this guy, Paging Mr. Morrow. If you've never heard of Paging Mr. Morrow, he is a Walt Disney World vlogger. I highly recommend him. I came across Paging Mr. Morrow while looking for what was the name of the restaurant again? Whispering Canyon. Whispering Canyon, the all-you-can-eat restaurant at the Wilderness Lodge in Walt Disney World. I was looking for a Whispering Canyon dining review. Came across his video, and he was wearing a mask that had one of the Pete, the Disney character Pete. I don't know what he is. He a dog? I think he's a dog or something. Hey, the guy, the big.
Isn't that the Goofy mask?
No, he wasn't wearing a Goofy mask, but the bigger guy. Anyway, he was wearing a mask with the big nose and everything, and I don't know, something about it. I was like, I don't like this. I don't like this guy. And so we watched his whole video though, but I just something about him rubbed me wrong. I didn't like it, and I clicked away. Well, then, like maybe 2 months ago, I came across a second one of his videos, and I really liked it. And he wasn't wearing that mask anymore. And maybe I think it might have just been the mask that I didn't like, because I hate those face masks, the ones with the faces on them. I even commented about that when we were at our Downtown Disney video. I just don't like them. I don't know why, something about them. We watched his video, and I really liked this the second time. So then we went to his channel and saw he posted something else we were interested in. So I watched the third video. After that third video, I hit the subscribe button because I wanted to see more content from him. That's usually how it works. Usually a first time, unlikely to hit the subscribe button, but see a video a second or a third time. And that's sort of what happens. Now, Amy and I watch Paging Mr. Morrow every single night. I kid you not. We pull up YouTube and we look to see if Nate has a new video out. If Nate doesn't have a new video out, it's kind of depressing. It's like, oh man, Nate didn't have a video today. And so that's kind of how YouTube works. Subscribers who don't watch don't really help anything. The one thing that they do help though is reaching that 1,000 goal, because at 1,000 is when we can live stream via mobile, and 1,000 is when we can monetize the channel, and we'll start to get some. I don't know how much money it would make right now, but just based on what I've studied, my guess is it'd be about $100 to $130 a month or something like that, just based on the current velocity on the channel. So that's all thanks to you guys, and that would basically just allow us, so it would take that money and put it straight back into doing more stuff for you guys here on the content, going to some of those experiences and letting you know how they are and that sort of thing. I know that we want to go do the flamingo feeding at SeaWorld because it's really cheap. It's like $15 a person for the flamingo feeding. We haven't done that yet because you have to make advance reservations, and I always forget about it. When I get there, it's like, oh, I want to go do that. Oh, but it's sold out. That sort of thing. So yeah, feel free to tell your family about it. If they end up liking us and watching, great. All the more to it. But really, what really helps the channel is hitting a like on every video, and also commenting on the video. The longer you can watch the video, it helps as well. If you watch the whole video, then that tells YouTube that, oh, we really like this video. If you open the video and then you click away because you don't have time to watch right now, then that tells YouTube, oh, he didn't like the video. So I always try to do my best that if I'm not at a point to watch a video yet, I try not to even let it autoplay on my phone. I don't know if that makes any difference at all, if it autoplays on your phone or whatnot. But I just personally, when I'm watching, scrolling through YouTube, for other YouTubers that I like, I always try to just, quickly scroll by if I can't watch right now. And then I do my very best to hit a like for them and comment on all their videos because I know it helps them out for sure. Yeah. Dan says they tried the lobster mac and cheese later in the afternoon. I'm assuming from the Nuts Boysenberry Festival.
Or is he talking about the one from
So there's a lobster mac and cheese at SeaWorld, and there's a brisket mac and cheese at Knott's. Now, the lobster mac and cheese at SeaWorld, the very first day, opening day of the festival, it was good. I enjoyed it. We went back, we did a best of the fest video, if you saw that. So we ate, I'd say 20 or so items around the Seven Seas Food Festival. We didn't eat all of them, but we felt like we'd eaten enough to be able to give a best of the fest video. And we went back to get that lobster mac and cheese because part of the video was determining whether or not the food was just as good the second time as it was the first time. And unfortunately, the lobster mac and cheese was a big letdown for us the second time.
It was cold.
It was cold. It didn't have the greatest flavor. I don't know. It was a letdown. But the brisket mac and cheese at Knott's Boysenberry Festival, we thought was fantastic. Now, I will tell you that another San Diego vlogger friend of mine, we haven't met yet in person, but I've chatted with him occasionally. That's Park Swap. He's another local San Diegan here. You can check out his channel. He posts really great stuff. And he went up to the Knott's Boysenberry Festival, and he said that he did not like the brisket mac and cheese. Now, he got it from a different booth than we did, so I don't know if that makes any difference. The booth that we got it from was from the Silver Bullet booth, so the booth that's right below the Silver Bullet roller coaster entrance. And I thought the lobster mac and cheese, or not lobster, sorry, the brisket mac and cheese was phenomenal for sure, but that's just me. Have I done any of the interaction programs at SeaWorld? We are starting to.
We have done the feed the things. That's not the interaction program.
I know what you're talking about. I'm getting into that. We had never done any paid experiences in SeaWorld before this channel. None. Our attitude before was, I paid to get in here. I'm not going to pay to do extra stuff. And then I did the feeding of the bat rays, and I was like, this is so cool. And we pay to get food to feed the ducks, so why not pay to get food to feed the bat rays? So I thought it was really neat. And then we decided to feed the sea lions, which was really fun too, because the sea lions went all crazy for tossing the fish at them. I want to do the flamingos, but the more expensive encounters, meeting the orcas, not orcas, meeting the beluga whale, meeting the what's the other things you can do there? The penguins, those sorts of things. They're like 60, 70 a person, and that's just not something we've ventured into yet. But later down the line, that's something that we want to look into. Thanks for recommending us, Billy Bob. Definitely appreciate the recommendation. See here, Pingas. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. Thanks for joining us. Glad to have you here with us. Said thank you for the great info and for sharing all your thoughts. You and Amy are the best. Thank you so much. I appreciate the comments. It definitely encourages us. You know, the thing that helps us to keep knowing it's worth it. And there's some ups and downs on YouTube, of course, to YouTubing, like the video that I posted yesterday, Cannonball review at Belmont Park. There's just not a lot of interest for probably food at Belmont Park. Most people have probably never even heard of Belmont Park unless you're a local. That's a tiny little local amusement park with about 10 rides, and they're not really following COVID guidelines all that much. And a handy tip for going to Belmont Park, though, is they aren't really checking to see if you're a California resident. I've heard from people that you can't buy tickets online because you're not a California resident, but when I went there, they don't have a gate, so you just walk right in because it's like a free open area, and you pay for the rides by tickets. I went to the ticket booth, and they did not make sure that I was a California resident. Didn't ID me. They did ask for a phone number, but anybody could get a California phone number if you just add a Google Voice or something. So I don't think they used that for verification purposes. And if they did, and that's a way to get around it, I guess. But we went to Cannonball, and that video didn't really go over so well. And sometimes it's tempted to go like, oh man. And now that now that spring break is over, the velocity of subscribers joining the channel has gone down a little bit. I'm sure that there'll be more interest in travel once we get into the summer season because everyone's going on vacations and things. But so sometimes there's times where it's like, a little disappointing. But when I see comments like that from Pingus, and again, hope I'm saying your name correctly, it's definitely encouraging to us. And thank you so much for the encouragement. It helps keep smiles on our faces, and really love being able to share the parks with you all. And Goodman says, hate to say, but the food at SeaWorld San Diego is one of the weaker points of the park.
I feel like it depends what you get.
It also depends where you go. Okay, so food at SeaWorld San Diego, I feel like the food at SeaWorld's better than the zoo. Would you agree with that assessment? Or
Depends
no?
where you go.
Depends where you go. I will tell you this, Mama Stella's, everything that I've had at Mama Stella's in the last 8 months has been fantastic. They had a barbecue cheese quesadilla, barbecue chicken cheese quesadilla back at Halloween time. That was fantastic. The meatballs, we've had the meatballs there 3 times now. And before the Seven Seas Food Festival, they had meatball sliders. The meatballs were fantastic. I love them. And I have the rigatoni. I've eaten the rigatoni twice at Mama Stella's. It's really, really great. The
Explorers Cafe.
Explorers Cafe isn't really all that great, and Shipwreck Reef has the best theming, but I feel like the food is just still kind of subpar.
The food's hit or miss.
Yeah,
it can sometimes be really, really good. We had one time when we had a burger and they had freshly made it. I know there's cat hair.
No, not that. Dragon Blood just said he likes Explorers Reef and Shipwreck.
Well, I mean, it's really hit or miss. We've had some times where it's been great, and then we've had some times where it's not that great.
Yeah. So some of the food at the zoo is not as good as the food at San Diego or at SeaWorld, but the food at the Sabretooth Grill, we have a review landing for that in, let's see, not tomorrow because that's Elephant Odyssey, the day after. So what's tomorrow? Friday. On Saturday, I'll have a video hitting for Sabretooth Grill review, and the food that we got there was great. It took forever, and that's going to be part of the review. It was kind of a downer experience, but the food was really, really good. So that's coming up as well. But Calypso Bay, Janice says, hi, Janice. Calypso Bay Smokehouse is good. Those are our 2 favorites, Calypso Bay and Mama Stella's. We go to those 2 a lot. One of our favorite best items from the Seven Seas Food Festival was actually at Mama Stella's, or not Mama Stella's, at Calypso. And it's the barbecue brisket tacos, because it has 2 tacos, and Amy and I split everything if you've watched any of our food videos. And so I get 1 taco, she gets 1 taco, and it works out perfect. And the tacos are really, really good. Now that's a Seven Seas Food Festival item, but their brisket in general is pretty good. So we like those 2 places the best, but looks like Dragon Blood said he usually gets the all-day dining. If you like Calypso, there's a smokehouse at Legoland that's to die for. So we'll have to check it out.
Last time I went to Legoland, I think I was 13, so it's been a long time.
Yeah. Goodman says, I got a churro at the zoo that tasted like cinnamon sugar dusted cardboard.
But I feel like the zoo is another one of those hit or miss places. Because we've had sometimes down at the Asian cafe there that we liked, and then we've had other times where it was just so. We haven't really tried many of the places up top. And then
I'll agree with you. Sorry to interrupt, but Goodman just said that the food at SeaWorld was just too inconsistent. And I feel like that kind of goes with what you're saying, because they're all really inconsistent. I mean, there's nothing that's super consistent except for those meatballs at Mama Stella's. 3 times I've got those meatballs, and they've been fantastic absolutely every single time I've eaten there. So Mama Stella's is my #1 pick for good food at SeaWorld if I had to make a recommendation. Dragon Blood said he works at the smokehouse. So that is what I'm going to assume. We'll have to check out when we go there for sure. Janice says when SeaWorld is open, we also go to Pineapple Pete's. Yeah. Did I see something with Pineapple Pete's recently?
Pete's has been re-themed. It's now the new, Big Bird.
So is Pineapple Pete's gone? Or they still serve Dole Whips?
They still serve all the same food. It looks like they literally just switched the sign on the outside of the building. Because when they said they were redoing the whole, reopening the kids area, it said a new, Big Bird's Bistro or something. And I'm like, where are they putting another food place?
Yeah.
And all it was is
Goodman
they literally took
Bistro,
a new sign and stuck it over Pineapple Pete's. But as far as I know, it's all the same food. Okay. We just haven't gone there yet.
So if you're going looking for Pineapple Pete's, it's like, where'd Pineapple Pete's go? Now it's Big Bird's Bistro, but it'll still be the same food. Hi, Billy Bob, Millie's friend.
And Pineapple Pete's is this little tiny, hut type building in SeaWorld, and they have funnel cakes. I think soft serve ice cream. I think they have Dole Whips, or they sometimes have Dole Whips. And I think ice cream sundaes or something. So they shrunk the funnel cakes. I feel like any food just slowly gets smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yeah. But hi, Estella. It says, I don't know if you've answered this, but would you consider Knott's Berry Farm and SeaWorld taking the appropriate measures to ensure a feeling of cleanliness when being there? This is honestly a difficult topic to talk about, and I'll tell you why. Because I try to keep everything positive and upbeat on the channel, and we're going to be honest on the channel. If things like food could be better, like the food review that's going to land in 2 days, we'll share our displeasure with things. I'm not going to just make sure everything is sunshine and rosy, but we were at the San Diego Zoo on the first big weekend of spring break. And we were just so frustrated with the lack of adherence to mask policies. I actually had a big rant ready to go for the video that I edited out because I just felt like the tone of it was too negative. And I always want to encourage other people to come and experience these places, and I don't want to discourage people. So I didn't want to say things like, well, because it's spring break, we were feeling like maybe it was just we were getting a lot of out-of-town guests, and the out-of-town guests from states that aren't as strict as California with these COVID procedures, they're not used to it. So maybe they weren't adhering to the policies as much. I don't know if that statement would be true or not, but I just tried to leave those sorts of things out of the video. But we did feel like the San Diego Zoo during spring break was very frustrating for COVID policy procedures. And most of the people at the zoo are volunteers. So unfortunately, they just can't.
The safari park does better than the zoo because the safari park's less crowded to begin with than the zoo. And there's more places to spread out.
But of course, the question was Knott's Berry Farm and SeaWorld. So I've heard a lot of complaints from SeaWorld. Now, again, we admin the SeaWorld San Diego Annual Pass Holders Facebook group. So if you are an annual pass holder and you're not in that Facebook group, definitely recommend that you join. But we have a lot of people in there posting, I was just in the park today and I was frustrated with the lack of COVID adherence and that sort of thing.
And it's more mask wearing though than cleanliness, because anytime I've looked there, like in eating areas, there has always been a worker around somewhere, like making sure they can go spray off the tables. So in terms of that, I don't think that's an issue. As well as little ones touching everything, we have little ones who touch everything. And I think if it was an issue, one of the two of them would have gotten sick at this point, because we have been places almost every weekend since it opened, and we have a 3-year-old who's grabbing things constantly. We just make sure there's hand sanitizers everywhere. Honestly, for SeaWorld, we had a little rant about that. Don't bring your own hand sanitizer there. There's this...
I cut that out of the video.
Yeah, we cut it out of the video, but it's very liquidy. So I would recommend for SeaWorld just bringing hand sanitizer, and you're probably good there in terms of that. Our one thing there. And now that spring break crowds are dying down.
Yeah.
It's probably going to get a lot better anyway.
So the heart of spring break, our cat's getting into things. The spring break started in force here in San Diego on March 27th, and it goes through April the 11th, which is why SeaWorld extended its fireworks through April 11th for nightly, and then it's keeping on weekends through May 31st. But April 11th is kind of like the end of spring break here in San Diego anyway. Now, I don't know about where other places coming into things, but locally, what?
Just typing in them.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let's see here. SeaWorld. Oops. World. San Diego annual pass holders. So that's the name of the Facebook group there. I'll just type it in the comments for you. And yeah, feel free to join that Facebook group if you are an annual pass holder. And I've got good information there for annual pass holders. We have a guy there by the name of Eric, who he is very on top of things. Anytime SeaWorld has anything to say, and our cat. Anytime something happens, Eric knows about it, I feel like, before everybody else. So good. I find all my SeaWorld information from Eric. So come join the group for sure. As far as Knott's Berry Farm, we were only there for the one day, and I felt like everything was great. They don't have rides open currently, of course. It was just for the food festival, and there's no like attractions to see or anything. It's just go for the food festival. But I felt like everything was safe and everything was good. And I didn't feel the frustration like I did at the zoo on spring break weekend and that sort of thing. So I'd say those places are
our
great.
only frustration with Knott's was we didn't know where anything was.
Yes.
So
I'd never been.
And I hadn't been in so long that they were like, go to this place. It's like, where?
We did an egg hunt. So I didn't get a chance to share the egg hunts on the channel. I still have the videos, but it's past Easter now. So, I mean, if you guys still want to see the egg hunts, I guess I can post the egg hunts. But we did an egg hunt at Downtown Disney, and we did an egg hunt at Knott's Berry Farm. And I just had so much footage from that weekend that I still haven't even shared our hotel review from when we went that weekend. And I had so much footage that we just didn't have time to show those things. But during the egg hunt for Knott's Berry Farm, they're like, go to the jail and talk to, I don't even remember the guy's name in the jail, and he'll give you your next clue. And I was like, where's the jail? I had seen it in other YouTubers' videos because apparently it's a thing. You go to talk to the guy in the jail, and they've got like a worker who's talking to you and interacting with you, even though you see this like animatronic guy sitting on a chair through the jail bars. But have I watched Park Brothers before? No, I don't think I have. I'll have to check out that channel. The local, not San Diego channels, but the local other bloggers that I have here to keep an eye on to see what they're posting and to interact, and maybe one day we'll do like a collab and things with them. These are the local YouTubers that I follow. Park Swap, he's a local San Diego guy, probably the only other local San Diego person that I'm aware of. And then Ordinary Adventures, they're pretty huge. You've probably heard of Ordinary Adventures if you've followed anything Southern California theme park. They got like 150,000 subscribers. And that is Kitra and Peter. We've watched a few of their videos, and I really like them. They're pretty great. Stephen Kai, love Stephen Kai. I've chatted with Stephen a couple of times, and they're really great. Like Stephen Kai. Provost Park Pass. They are a little bit all over the place. Like that, they were showing Walt Disney World videos as well. So I don't know if they are Walt Disney World based and they talk about Disneyland when there's news and announcements, or where they're specifically. No, their last name is Provost.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
I thought they were still from.
Oh, maybe they are, but I don't know. But their last name I thought was Provost. But maybe I'm wrong on that. I've only watched like one video of his, but I keep an eye on what he posts. Fresh Baked. And SoCal Exploring, let's see here, JP Land 21, Mr. Cheesy Pop, Best Life and Beyond, Five Fires. Five Fires is actually live right now, I see here. Theme Park Obsession, Magic Journeys, and Yellow Productions. So those are, I know I just kind of went through that really quick. But those are the ones that I follow the most are Stephen Kai, Ordinary Adventures, and what was the other one that I said? Oh, Park Swap, because he's a local guy here. Mr. Cheesy Pop, yeah, I think, I don't know if I said him or not, but he's on the list, that I keep an eye on him. There's just so many of them. I don't really have a chance to watch all of their videos, but a lot of them seem like really. Our cat is just getting into so much trouble now. She was being very good earlier. So Knott's is Janice's home park, looks like, so that's pretty neat. Amy grew up going to Knott's all the time, but
I've been 3 times.
Okay. I amend that statement, but it was the place your dad liked to take you as a kid. So
and drag me onto the big tall roller coasters as a kid.
But it's getting pretty late here, so we're actually going to wrap up this video. It's been really great chatting with you all. Thanks so much, everybody who joined us at the beginning, joined us in the middle, joined us in the end. Awesome. Park Brothers goes live every week and makes roller coasters on Minecraft. Okay, interesting.
Oh, maybe I should go live on Roller Coaster Tycoon.
If I ever get desperate enough for content because I didn't get enough on the weekend, I've thought about like videoing. What's she into now?
He's trying to jump up on the dresser.
I've thought about doing like a Zoo Tycoon type video, if you will, because one of my son's favorite vloggers, that my 6-year-old, he loves, what's his name? Brooks Holt. I don't know if you've ever heard of Brooks Holt. He does mini golf videos. My son loves watching mini golf videos. Brooks Holt also plays mini golf video games, and they seem really interesting. So I was like, oh, that's an interesting idea. If I don't have enough zoo videos for this week, maybe I'll do a zoo video game video or something. But otherwise, I don't really watch too many video game type channels, just him. But so we're gonna head out. Thanks, Carl. Thanks, Goodman, for saying hi and saying goodnight, as well as Dragon Blood. Thank you all again for watching. And yeah, it's 10:25 our time. So hi, Bubba. And we're actually saying goodbye now. Unfortunately, been on the channel live stream for 2 hours and 20 minutes. But yeah, bye all, and we will see you again next time. And here we go. Bye.